I made the mistake of going looking for Christmas presents on Japanese auction sites. And I found the present, and that's arrived. The problem is that once you're on those sites, you just keep browsing. And then the argument in your head is, I'm shipping this, so I really need to buy a few more things just to keep the price per item down on the shipping from the other side of the world. And that's how I ended up finding some of what I think is the most interesting box design, packaging design I've ever seen on a model. And it's in these. These are, as far as I can tell, these are the only two in the series. The Nitto video character series. Leda, Fantastic Adventure of Yoko, was a one-shot OVA from 1985 or 86 about a young woman whose musical compositions transport her to another world, where she gets into lots of wild adventures in this fantasy other world that she's gone to. Touch was a massively popular basketball anime that was adapted from a massively popular basketball manga. I've never seen either of these. I found both of them on the Internet Archive and watched the first 15 or 16 minutes of Leda until the point where Yoko transforms from ordinary... What does she call herself? I've forgotten what she calls herself. Oh, Bobby Soxer. I've got to the bit where Leda transforms from a slightly wimpy Bobby Soxer, who is very talented on the piano, to Warrior dressed like this. So I'll probably watch the rest of it at some point. It's been ripped from a VHS though, so the quality is pretty low. Touch, there seem to be a few episodes on there as well. But I'm waffling. I'm getting away from the point here, which is these two sets have really, really inventive packaging. So you've got your main box, and the way it's organised on the back is probably going to give you a hint as to what the deal is. The main box is a slipcase for the two smaller boxes, for the two sub-figures. And then, and this is going to take a little bit of work because it's in quite tight, they come out, and each of the sub-boxes looks like that. That's just brilliant, and that caught my eye as I was scrolling through, and I had to have these just for the packaging alone. So that's the Leda one. The Touch one, Yukanita and Minami Asakura. Minami, from what I have read about Touch, Minami Asakura is the girl next door romantic interest for the main characters in the series. So this is the second one in the series, and they have learned one thing, which is that it's easier to get the inner boxes out if you put one of these little notches in it. They have, however, with these ones, not gone for the videotape gimmick, which is a bit of a shame. So that's why I bought them. Let's actually see what the models themselves, see what's inside each of these cases. So these are more your traditional style end opening model box, albeit with, I just love that. I love that design idea that they had with this. Instructions for the character on the inside of the box, on the back of each of them. And to have a look on the inside. And it looks like the seller over in Japan actually took the time and effort to wrap some bubble wrap around this for safekeeping. And I'm not going to open it just yet, but comes with transfers for eyes, lots of different versions. It looks like these are the eyes for this particular one, and these are the eyes for the 12th scale one, at a guess. And this is 1/20th of the character riding some form of hovering jet bike with, you know what, I will open this because let's have a close look on the inside. Because I've just spotted some other bits hiding behind the transfers. So we've got a base with rough water, or more likely sand from what I've seen of the anime so far. Rough base like that. The flying, as it says, steed. And then the figure riding it. Obviously a few other bits from the steed. That's cool. And there are also some clear section parts. I think that might be a stand to hold it up. Is this focusing? Yes. And then light lenses by the look of it, and a little windscreen. So that's one. Put that there. So that's the, yeah, there's the figure. There's your light steed, or just steed. And this is a 1/12 scale figure of the character herself, Yoko. Their own base with, can we see that? Yep, Leda. Yeah. Little bit of flash, little bit of seam lining. Nothing major. Just depending on how hard the plastic is, it shouldn't take much to get that off. And then a sword, and can't see the details on her face because it's a bit buried. So 20th scale character. I don't know if I'm going to use this base or find an old VHS cassette to stand her on. This isn't quite up to the job, but I think a VHS cassette might be a good idea. VCS 25132. Play on the fact that it's looking like it's a VHS cassette. So let's put Leda back in her box. And let's have a look at the other two characters. So this is Minami Asakura. Came from a different seller. They haven't put any extra packaging in there. Not that that's a big deal. So we've got, if we have a, no, so, is it on the back of here? So if we have a look on there, bring this up until it's as close as it will get, you'll see that she's doing a bit of rhythmic gymnastics with a ribbon. And there's the ribbon. And there's eye transfers for both of them. Yep. And Minami's base has a bit of an 80s feel to it with these lines. Let's open this up and have a look, see how have a look at what sort of detail we've got on her face. So there's the base and there's the face. That's a fairly good representation in plastic of an anime face, I'd say. Where I've seen ones where it's just like a crash dummy looking head that you're supposed to sort of put the details on more or less by implication. So, yeah. Oops. And, oh, we've got two faces for her. So that one's a bit more serious looking. Cool. Don't know whether these are, and the hair is slightly different as well. So each one will have a slightly different hairdo. I think that one goes with this head, and this one goes with the head on the other sprue. Cool. Put this over here for the moment, and let's have a look at Nitto. That's the instructions for her. And she has a similarly 80s looking base, a bit more baggy top, and she's wearing trainers, so it looks like she's a bit more outdoorsy in this one. And I think she might have two faces as well, so let's have a look. Yeah, she has two different faces. Let's bring them up. So that's serious and that's smiley. So, fairly simple, straightforward models, obviously. Not a lot going on here. She's only got one hairpiece, which clearly goes on the back of whichever head you choose to do. So, I have a plan that would require me to have some 1/12 scale anime looking girls. So I think probably Yuka's the best bet for that, because I think she'll look most like what I'm aiming for, and I'll let you in on that at a later date. So the other risk of shopping on Japanese auction sites is you panic and bid twice on two different auctions for the same thing. So I have two of these. So this one, which is in slightly better condition, the box is in slightly better condition than this one. This one is going up for sale on the Spinny World website. And it should be available by the time this video comes out. This one is the one I'll build. So, the joy of browsing. Sometimes you find something that you didn't know existed before. You find a piece of genius Genius packaging. Very of its time, obviously. I mean, you wouldn't have known to do this before the 80s. I don't think you could package anything in a DVD size box now. Nothing that would make a particularly big model anyway. And increasingly people have less and less of a memory of, I won't call it the good old days because it was the 80s, but people have less and less of a memory of tech like this. So you're going to see some of these, probably the Yuka model firstly, built up soon, and I will let you in on what that's all about when I start doing it. So get out there, find something you've never seen before, and buy it on a whim. Because you'll find really cool stuff like this. That's been an unboxing of a couple of vintage Japanese kits. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy modelling.